It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenny Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Monday morning to you. It is the 8th day of April 2024. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube as we try to work out a couple of kinks here early this morning. Ben, Ryan, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
How are we today on this Monday?
All right. Getting over a sickness, but doing all right.
Oh, are you down with the sickness?
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, that was it's a little too early for those kinds of jokes.
No, it's good.
My apologies. You might say that one would be stained.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Your shirt was stained.
Right.
Oh, man. How was the? Oh, by the way, it's the event center in Grand Rapids is something about 5 floors. I wanted to bring that back up in case you knew what it was. Like 5th floor something.
The Bob. That's all I can think of. That's that.
Not the Bob. 5. It has like the 5 floors like in the title.
Oh,
so what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not sure.
Whatever that building is, doesn't ring a bell. Ring my bell. How was your? Well, it was terrible, wasn't it? How was your weekend?
Like I said, I'm getting over a sickness, so it wasn't that great. I did a lot of sleeping. It was congested.
What are your symptoms, Ben?
Congested. My throat was on fire. I had a headache, and I just felt kind of weak, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Yep.
Especially that last one there, kind of weak. That's not good.
Yeah.
Like when you wake up, you feel like you just can't do anything. Like lifting a pencil would be exhausting. Yeah. Been there.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
rough. That is rough. Well, I'm glad you're better.
For the most part.
Yeah, good enough to get into into work this morning, right?
Right.
Isn't that something? Well, that's you made it through. Did you have anything planned for this past weekend?
No, just we were supposed to go see a movie yesterday, but that was about it. Otherwise, it was perfect because I didn't have to cancel anything.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah.
That's a positive. At least you were able to, carry on with life and, if you had a lazy day scheduled, that's cool, and if you didn't have to do anything, that's a winner too.
Oh yeah.
Right? So that's a huge positive there. Not really a busy weekend for me, relatively relaxing.
Nice.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Got a couple weekends free here before the NFL draft takes over my life.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're that's the next big big thing.
Yeah.
Opening day in itself was that was a lot on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday were fine. Friday was a very, very long day, but Saturday was easy. Yesterday was easy, but opening day now feels like it was like 3 weeks ago. Why that happens like that, I have no idea. But yeah, it was a downtown Detroit. You know what? You get downtown, and at first it was like sunny and like 40 degrees, and that's cool. Next thing you know, it's cloudy and there's flurries, and it's like, man, that's not cool. And then it's sunny again outside. You're like, oh, okay, all right, this works. I mean, I was indoors for the broadcast anyway, so it's that I wasn't going outside unless I had to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was.
Yeah,
it didn't matter to me. Like, you know,
Understandable.
like, hey, are you going over to the game? No, I'm not. I can see everything from right here, especially with this new jumbotron, this new video board. From my position, I was in the Huntington Bank building on Woodward, and so we're on the 20th floor. You just look down into the ballpark.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, you can see everything. It's
That's
like, man,
great.
you guys can do concerts up here.
Yeah.
Basically anything you wanted, and it's gonna be pretty solid. So, not too, not worried about kind of trying to get over there and do anything. Like, it just kind of is what it is. Like, I just want to just hang out. I do my job and get the hell out of here. That's kind of the vibe that I was on right there. Let's just get done what we need to get done, and let's get out of here in one piece. Did you see the Detroit Pistons this weekend?
I did not.
All right, so they played the Brooklyn Nets, and it was Friday night, and they lost 113-103, which you might think, like, okay, that's really not bad. But the problem is, and it's Brooklyn, right? They've got some, they got Mikal Bridges, they've got Dennis Schroeder, Cam Thomas, right? They've got some players. The game previous to that, the Memphis Grizzlies, is one of, maybe if not the worst loss, I think, in Pistons history. The Pistons rolled out their typical lineup at this point of the season. Typical lineup, which would include multiple, a lottery pick, first-round selections, like the entire deal. And they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies by 18 points, and you have no idea who was on the Grizzlies. I'll tell you this, who was on the Grizzlies. Xavier Simpson. Scottie Pippen Jr. was on the Grizzlies. Xavier played 33 minutes, didn't shoot it well. He was 1 for 9 from the field. But he was like their starting guard. And everybody scored in double digits for the Grizzlies. Like, they rolled out maybe one of the worst lineups in NBA history and beat the Pistons by damn near 20. A Pistons team with multiple lottery, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren. How does that happen? How does that happen? And I get Memphis stinks, but they lost their best player. They still have 27 wins. Like, they still have 27 wins. This is an all-time failure from the Detroit Pistons that, I just I didn't even put them in the rundown today. I just we'll just skip over them. We don't even need to discuss them. So I'll just drop them in now and be done with it, because that was an absolutely awful, awful weekend. Congratulations to the Pistons legend, Chauncey Billups, by the way. That was good for him making it into the Hall of Fame. That's a lot of fun. Pistons have now lost 4 in a row. They'll be back in action tomorrow night in Philly. Remember, they only have 1 home game remaining, so they've played 3 on the road. They'll finish up this road trip with a road game at Philly, pop home for the Chicago Bulls on the 11th, and then finish the season on the 12th and the 14th. And, man, if you're a Pistons fan, this season can't get over fast enough. Just get it done with, right? That's all we really wanted, and that's kind of a shame considering the fact of, how long of a disappointing year it has been. We're going to step aside. When we return, we're going to dive into the Tigers a little bit. They stunk it up this weekend. We'll get into them. We'll talk about the Red Wings. John Wagner will join us. March Madness. Whole lot to get to. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, the managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office, their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA, accounting, and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA, accounting, and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports and Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide in the iHeartRadio app. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you this morning. And look, the Tigers this weekend, we came into the weekend feeling pretty good. Of course, it was opening day and the celebration that was opening day, so that's always a lot of fun, right? And you're playing the Oakland Athletics, which, based upon how the team had started this year, we were thinking, hey, we're pretty good here. Life is good. We've got no complaints. What would the issue be? All we really have, possibly, is the Oakland A's coming to town, and we could feel really good about the fact that, hey, we've won our first couple of series. Everybody's happy. No problems at all. Life is good. Well, life is good until you come in there and you just underachieve like crazy, and now life all of a sudden is no longer very good. And you drop 2 of 3 to the Oakland A's, soon to be of Sacramento, once, maybe potentially in a few years, in Las Vegas, right? That's like the biggest issue right now. For me, it's not the of how you lost, it's who you lost to. And the fact that you dropped 2 games in a row, you feel relatively bad, not just about the pitching, but the offense in its entirety. And look, we're 9 games into the season. There's really no real reason to stress out about anything, right? They're 6-3, except for the fact that I kind of want to stress out about some things, one of which is Spencer Torkelson's bat. That's a huge issue. Like, that is a monstrous issue. If he doesn't get that figured out, we didn't lose 119 games. 119 games. We didn't lose all of that to get an MLB, like a generational MLB bat, for him to not be a generational MLB bat. Like, that much is for certain. Like, we didn't do all of that. So, with all that being said, he's got to figure it out. And this year, honestly, might be more important than last year. Really, honestly, truthfully, for a guy like Spencer Torkelson. Like, at some point, he's going to have to be that guy that we all thought that he was when we drafted him. Like, that's just the that's just the fact of the matter. So we'll kind of have to, I hate to say wait and see. Like, to me, that just is, I hate I just cannot, I can't stand it. But what I can do is I can tell you this much. He's got to improve. Absolutely must improve. Because if he doesn't, this team, that looks like a very questionable, like, that's a misselection. Like, he can't hit 200. It just cannot happen. Now, we're 9 games into the season. Some people are going to be like, oh, I can't believe you're saying this. What are you trying to say here, Anthony? I'm trying to say he needs to be the guy that is supposed that we drafted. That's what's supposed to happen. He's got to be the dude that we drafted him to be. And if he's not, that's a problem. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Nothing too crazy. Just be the guy that we told you, like, we drafted. Because, this pitching staff has been very good outside of Kenta Maeda. Kenta Maeda has not looked like the Kenta Maeda we traded for. He has been relatively horrible. He's still in glorified batting practice. But outside of that, everybody else has done fine. The bullpen's been fine. Everything has been fine. However, Kenta Maeda, he has not been fine. Who was that? Mary J. Blige who sang that song, Fine? I don't know if it was her or not, but if it was, like, that's not Kenta Maeda. He is definitely, most definitely, not fine. And that's a little bit concerning if you are, if you're buying into this thing. So for me, Tigers weekend was not great. You win 5-4 in day one, and Saturday and Sunday you come back 4-0, 7-1. You'll lose the final two games 11-1 to the Oakland A's. And I think they put it up on the broadcast. Like, Oakland had won, I don't know if they've won like 12 of the last like 13 or 12 of the last 15 or something. Some sort of crazy stat that Oakland doesn't lose in Detroit. The Oakland A's, soon to be of Sacramento, and then potentially of Las Vegas. Those Oakland A's, they just do not lose. And for me, it's like, come on. Like, that's with the way this, in reality's coming soon. Reality is coming soon. They've got 2 against the Pirates, both on the road before they, get in here this coming weekend, where you're not going to get the White Sox and the Mets every single week. They're going to get the Twins. They're going to get Texas. Tampa's right around the corner. So they've got some challenges in front of them. And it's not like I expected them to be 9-0 after these first 3 series, but win all 3 series. Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for that. I don't think there's anything wrong. If you're going to give up a game, sure. Like, you lost to the Mets 2-1, but you had a lot of momentum there. Funny how the world turns here in the world of Major League Baseball, because you had a ton of momentum in your first 4 games. And then look at it this way. You're 2-3 in your last 5. You're 1-3 in your last 4. Things aren't looking so great, right? It's very interesting how momentum can swing. Tigers went 16 scoreless innings between Gio Urshela's go-ahead double on Friday and Riley Green's solo home run in the 8th inning on Sunday. It's pretty interesting. Like, that one hurts a little bit. Can't go. Hey, by the way, congratulations to Blake Corum throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. He's probably the best play of the day. Who is this? This is Austin sends this one. Here's the stat from Evan Woodbury, right? So this is good. It covers the Tigers for M Live. The last time the Tigers won a home series against the A's was April 25th through the 28th of 2016. They are 4-21 against Oakland at Comerica Park since then. Thank you, Austin. That is indeed the stat I was looking for. Also happening right now this morning, and of course late last night, did you see the news that Coach Calipari, John Calipari, has informed Kentucky that he is negotiating with Arkansas? Arkansas? What do they have going down there in Arkansas? What the hell is happening there? That's what I would like to know. Calipari to leave Kentucky to go to Arkansas? Sorry, I saw that Ryan threw that. I didn't think that was a real report, and then all of a sudden it turned out to be a real report from yesterday. So I just wanted to make sure that I squeezed that one out there. To make sure that, hey, like I didn't miss that first thing in the morning. But just to kind of round out that Tigers conversation here, this team 2 against the Pirates. Pitching is a problem. Starting pitching, like, how do I say this? Because it's only one game. You're like, oh, I thought you said, but yeah, I mean, look, they're not going to go out. If Parker Meadows is leading off, he can't hit 0.87. Period. If Riley Green is batting third, he can't hit 188. Torque can't hit 184. I'm not nearly as worried about Riley Green as I am Spencer Torkelson. It just is what it is. Like, Flaherty comes in and got waxed. 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts, gave up a home run. You're not winning a game with the starting pitcher doing that. It's just not going to happen. So that's that. We'll revisit the Tigers and the situation with John Wagner when we return in hour number 2. However, when we return here next, we're going to talk about the Detroit Red Wings staying alive is what they're doing right now. They are staying alive as they won the series against Buffalo. We'll talk about that game yesterday here next on X's and Bros.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeijerLPGAClassic.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, Together, we can make a difference.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, shout out to Austin, too, this morning. Up bright and early. Love the fact that he's all in on the show, helping out, throwing us some stats. We love stats like that. Finding the stat that I was trying to find about that Tigers futility versus the Oakland A's. As Ryan would call them, homeless. They're homeless. And they are, too. Like, what in the world? That's such a travesty. Well, next week, I think, with John Wagner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that conversation about that with Wags and see exactly how he's feeling about that whole conundrum there in Oakland. Because I got to imagine we've all got to be on the same page that we don't want to see taxpayers having to pay for new stadiums. And I'm glad Vegas did what they did. You might be thinking about Allegiant Stadium. Like, you might pick that up and be like, that's the counterpoint. Well, look what they did in Allegiant. Allegiant Stadium was paid by and paid through a special tax initiative on the hotels. That's where it was at. It was a hotel tax that supplemented the, I don't know, $750 million, I think, is what it was. And then it was, I don't even know what the total was paid for by ownership there. But, yeah, it was like $750 million through that special tax. And that's where we ended up with being able to get Allegiant Stadium. The other thing is, people want to pay for the NFL. I don't know if that's necessarily the same with Major League Baseball. I don't know if Major League Baseball necessarily, if that has the same draw that the NFL does. I think that's a legitimate question that we could be asking as well. All right, let's get into the Detroit Red Wings, who keep the season alive with a massive victory over the Buffalo Sabres. You might be thinking to yourself, what's the difference? I mean, it's the Sabres, but hey, it's a game you got to win. The Red Wings have taken the season series 3-1. They won 5-3, lost 7-3, and then bounced back 4-1, and then yesterday 3-1 throughout the course of the season against this Buffalo team. And a really good game here for Detroit, where all the scoring was done in the first period, and then it was maintenance, right? It was just maintain the damn thing. And I thought Buffalo actually played a really good, really aggressive game against the Wings. I think that much is like Buffalo was out there, playing with a little purpose, one might say. And I think that overall, this Red Wings team responded in a way. They did something that they haven't necessarily done of late or really all season long, and that was jump out to an early lead, right? I mean, at one point in the season, they led the National Hockey League with the most third-period comebacks. You don't want to have to do that all the time. Like, it's nice to be able to get a lead early and kind of carry that thing throughout the course of a hockey game. Now, a couple of people have asked me about my rant and how I feel about the way that this team has played. I think they played a little bit more aggressive. I think you honestly have to take the fight to the other team. That's what you have to do. And when I say fight, it doesn't mean drop your gloves and beat the hell out of somebody. What it means is, like, you have to be able to go out there and find a way to force the action on the opposition. And that can be through a myriad of different things. It could be through actual physical checking itself. It can be through aggressive forechecking. It can be through the big hits in the fights and things of that nature, where you feel as if your team is doing a very good job of being ultra aggressive and forcing the action on the other team. Those are all very good things, very, very good things. And I think when you look at this game from the Red Wings perspective, like, it was one in which you absolutely needed to have. You needed to have it. You needed to be able to go out there and win a hockey game that they're all playoff games from here on out. They are. And you need help, too. Luckily, with the victory, the race has really improved. Now, that Metro division is just chaotic, for lack of a better way to put it. But you have to win these games down the stretch. And this part of the schedule is where we're going to see, whether or not, this team's going to make the playoffs or not. It's all going to happen right now. Like, it's all going to be in this process of, the next couple of weeks. And they've had some performances where it has been, really good. They've had some clunkers as well. And you got to remember that this is the first time for all of these guys that they are, really. This is the first time for just about everybody who's on this team. That's not talking about DeBrincat. That's not talking about. I think Larkin played 1 year early in his career. But the Red Wings became the 5th different team to occupy the Eastern Conference's final wildcard spot through play in the last 5 days, following the Capitals, who were in there on April 3rd, the Islanders on the 4th, the Flyers on the 5th, the Penguins on the 6th, and now it's the Red Wings on the 7th. Like, that's the point that we are at right now in how competitive this has been for this Detroit Red Wings team and for this, for the entire conference that already hasn't qualified for one of those top 3. I mean, these teams on the outside looking in, they're getting after it. And every single game matters for everybody. And we need some help. Like, we absolutely need some help here. Like, it's just one of those things. You put yourself in the spot because you lost 7 games. Like, that's what it is. And when you go out there and you lose 7 games in a row this time of year, if you'd have done this in November, you're not going to lose any sleep over it. You do this in March and April, and it could be cataclysmic for your club.
And Sherratt will put it in deep with the pressure on as well, but it's Owen Power for Buffalo.
Might have needed Joe Koser and Drapes to start this game for the Red Wings.
That pass stolen away by Lucas Raymond. Raymond in, shoots, scores! Lucas Raymond, 53 seconds in.
That's a really good way to start the game. That's a really, really good way to start the game. Lucas Raymond, who has had yesterday was the Lucas and Mo show, is what it was. It was Lucas Raymond offensively getting the game started. And what happens is Buffalo's trying to carry that puck through the neutral zone. He jumps a pass right in the middle of the ice. And that's a big commitment, right? And it's a little play that makes a lot of difference because, in hockey, think about it like you're a cornerback, right? Especially if you're not a big hockey player. This is the best reference I can make. Or like a basketball player. There are certain times where you're going to, quote-unquote, go for the steal. That's exactly what Lucas Raymond did. He went for the takeaway right there. He went for that steal. And the pass was maybe a little bit lackluster, some good pressure on the puck there. And it's going from the near side boards to center ice. Raymond gets a stick on it, takes over possession, beats the first man on a one-on-one, and then it's him, the goaltender, and one defender in front of him. And he let that thing go right near the top of the circle, not exactly top of the circle, but close enough for me to call it top of the circle, and just beat the goaltender. That's what it was. And to do that at that point of the game, to get this team started early, really bringing a lot of juice, a lot of momentum for the club. That's a win across the board, right? Score first. There's nothing in the rules that says that we have to mount a comeback every single game. Like we're allowed to get on the board first and to be able to build on a lead. Like I think that's a really good idea. In fact, I think we should do more of that. Is what I think we should do. A whole lot more. Like let's score first. And then put a little pressure on the other team. So what I say about taking the attack to the other team, taking the fight to them, it can be in the forecheck. It can be actual hits throughout the course of a game. It can be on the scoreboard, right? It can be on the scoreboard. It's not playing from behind all the time. It's getting a lead, maintaining that lead, protecting that lead. Because we all know the 2-goal lead is the scariest thing in hockey.
Rattles around for Larkin. The pass, though, stolen away by Jack Quinn. His pass, though, to Benson was on his way off the ice. And it's Patrick Kane trying to get through the D. Patrick Kane scores! Patrick Kane stayed with it and tucked it around Luukkonen. Too early for Detroit.
Now, that's a Patrick Kane. You could put that one on the career highlight list, I think. I think you can do that. Once again, here we go. It's the Detroit Red Wings on a takeaway. Patrick Kane gains possession just inside the blue line, has two defenders to beat, somehow squeezes between them like elevator doors, and ends. I don't even know how he got the puck on a stick to put it in the net. That, to me, it's just that's what a guy like Patrick Kane can provide you right there, in a much-needed goal for him as well. You know, that's a goal that I think that most people can feel pretty good about when you look at what he means to this team and how he has been playing to date, because that was an all-star caliber goal. Then later on in the first, it's still 2-0, and Dylan Larkin, who's been sensational all year long. Remember, he took that puck off the side of the knee. He looks like he's in really good shape. He was able to finish that game, and here he is getting a power play goal. You love to see it.
Are you off for cross-checking as the Red Wings working around the offensive zone on the power play? Red Wings power play, nearly 23% success rate, 9th best in the league, and they get it to Larkin, and he scores! Dylan Larkin, a power play goal, 3-0 Detroit.
And that would be it. I mean, Buffalo would get one, and then we would just call it. I mean, I'd just call it a day, right? We don't really have too much to worry about. We could just kind of keep it right there. Everybody settle down. Good, right? Everybody feels good. Now, I said the Raymond and Mo show. Moritz Seider. There is something to be said about the effort that it takes, the willingness that it takes in order for you to be able to block shots at the National Hockey League level. Moritz Seider blocked 10 shots in the win against Buffalo. 10. Lucas Raymond said, I quote, I feel like he does that every game. Mo Seider has 196 blocks in 76 games. That's just over 2.5 blocks per game. And the Red Wings, I mean, Seider was an absolute wall. No other Wings player blocked more than 3 shots in the game. But for Alex Lyon to make 37 saves, the Red Wings totaled 28 block shots. Think about that. Now, that's not to say that every shot would have been on line and been on net. You have no idea. Like, somebody rips one. If they're far enough away, it kind of, 50-50 shot, it hits the net. It's probably a little bit more like 80-20 because they're professional players. But we got in the way. That is a ton of shots. That's like 65 attempts at the net. And for Mo Seider to go out there and be willing to do that. And Derek Lalonde said, quote, no one eats pucks like him. No one talks about his willingness to play hard and to eat pucks. I still think there's some growth. Oh, yeah, well, there's not going to be any more growth if he keeps getting clapped by the puck. Now, Larkin, who scored his 31st goal of the season, the captain is 1 point shy of 500 for his NHL career. 210 goals, 289 assists, 499 points in 647 games. That's pretty solid right now. Now, he can become the 14th player in Red Wings history to reach the 500-point milestone when he gets it. Plus, he'll be the 10th Michigan-born player in NHL history to record at least 500 NHL points. So how about that? Congratulations, old Dylan Larkin. Still no goal for Alex DeBrincat, however. He has 1 goal in his last 17. Ugh. That's rough right there. Ben, you got some activity over there in the Meyer Supercenter guest line. What do you got going on?
Yeah, USDA Scott.
USDA Scott, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, buddy. Hey, happy Monday to you. I just want to say I like your take on the Red Wings right now because I'm feeling that I'm feeling the same stuff. I don't know why I read any posts or anything, and talk radio. Everything with let me say avid fan is glass half empty. This is one of the best sports years that we've had in Michigan history. U of M wins the Natty to start the year out.
Yes.
Lions win their first playoff game in over 30 years. Then we win another one and go to the NFC Championship. And
yes.
What do we hear? Golf can't win the big one. Oh, we blew it. No, be happy. Glass half full.
Scott, these people cannot be happy, Scott. They can't. They bought a brand new car, but it wasn't a Ferrari. They got a brand new house, but it's only 2,000 square feet. They wanted to have dinner. They settled on, Hamburger Helper. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, people we have no idea how to be happy with anything.
6-1. Our Tigers were 6-1, and I'm hearing people say, yeah, but Javi and Torque are just not hitting, and boy, did we swing and miss on Kenta Maeda. You're 6-1. We're the Tigers, and we're 6-1.
They were 6-1, and now they're 6-3, and all those things still stand true, though. They're all true. Like, I'm complaining about Torque. Like, we didn't lose 120 games to have a guy come in here and hit 200. Like, that's not the case. Now, he showed some signs second half of the season last year, and I'm good with that, but he needs to continue to progress, because if he doesn't, his team's going to find themselves in trouble. The other day, he blasted a couple doubles the other day, too, that looked really good. So, we give it a rest. We're still 6-3. These are professionals. I know Oakland's one of the worst teams in baseball, if not the worst team in baseball, but still professional. They're still a professional team. And, we did not play well. Move on. Beat the Pirates today. But it's just always the same. And, we're hosting the NFL draft this year in Michigan. Just got done with the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8.
We talked about this a week ago or so. We said in these last 8 games, Wings had to win. You and I were talking. We're figuring we had to win 6 out of 8 to guarantee or to lock it up for the playoffs. Well, we're 2 out of 3. Let's see what the kids can do. And Malone and both Eisenman have said about this Red Wings team. We got a lot of the people we want. We got a lot of the things in place we want. We just don't have our identity yet. And you know what? Fighting to get into the playoffs, and if they get in, maybe they find an identity.
I sure hope so, Scott. I sure hope so. Hey, thanks so much for the call. I got to tell everybody about we got a UFC show coming up. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, if this is something that you're going to dabble in. But if you are going to dabble in, and there's only one place to do it, an action-packed fight card taking over Las Vegas, UFC 300. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the Ultimate Fighting Championships, is giving you the chance to get in on the action with a knockout offer for every fight fan. New customers can bet on any UFC 300 bout. Turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. The much-anticipated title fight, Pereira versus Hill, the exciting undercard bouts. DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up the bonus bets. Right now, betting is simple. It's easy. Just lay down some action on any UFC 300 bet. You'll get bonus bets back instantly, no matter what. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers can bet $5, get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only with DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility, deposit restrictions to apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. Hour number 2 of X's and Bros coming at you next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Get ready to win big every Friday in April during Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort's 43rd gaming anniversary. Every hour from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., 2 winners will receive $500 in premium play. Then at 10 p.m., 1 lucky winner will walk away with $4,300 cash. The celebration doesn't stop there. On April 26th at 10 p.m., 1 lucky player will take home the grand prize of $43,000 cash. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for my good friend Drew and the crew at Impact Power Sports. Now, they're located on 14 Mile Road in Rockford, just north of Grand Rapids here on the west side of the state. They are Michigan's newest Yamaha go-to golf cart dealer. Now, if you're looking for a golf cart for the neighborhood, the business, the golf club, maybe that second home or the lake, stop by and see Drew and the crew. They can hook you up today at Impact Power Sports. They also have e-bikes, quads, side-by-side, yard toys for the big boys and the big girls. Anything you need when it comes to power, they have it at Impact Power Sports on 14 Mile Road in Rockford. Also, if you want a shot at winning Lomas Brown's Lions golf cart, a custom-built Lions golf cart, text IMPACT to 21000. That's Impact to 21000. And you could win Lomas Brown's Lions golf cart this summer from Impact Power Sports and the Huge Show.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Monday morning to you. It is the 8th day of April 2024. It is total eclipse of your heart day. It is the full eclipse. The solar eclipse is going to happen today. Are you going to be in a viewing area? How much of the sun will be blocked out by the moon? Will it be the next Y2K? Do you have enough toilet paper stocked up in your house? These are all questions that need to be known. For some reason, there was like this theory on the internet that somehow the eclipse was going to knock out like the internet. I just really don't see how that's relevant. I'm just looking for someone to explain to me as to why they believe that the moon passing in front of the sun would somehow disrupt your internet service. I don't know. If you were to tell me that the moon's going to go in front of the sun, it's going to knock the temperature down a couple degrees, I could wrap my head around that theory. If you were to tell me that the moon is going to wrap around and get in front of the sun, so it's going to be a little darker, I could wrap my head around that theory. The fact that, like, a solar flare, for example, solar activity causing heat waves, that I can wrap my head around that too. I mean, we have the images that people are like, global warming. Like, yes, the Earth is getting warmer, but there's been a whole lot more solar activity too that has nothing to do with greenhouse gases because the sun is so far away that we can't even fathom. So without getting to the Neil deGrasse, NASA center like that, a solar flare, I can absolutely wrap my head around. But to think that the moon getting in front of the sun is going to knock out the power and this is going to be the end of the world, very Y2K-ish. Like the clocks weren't going to be able to read 2000. If you remember Y2K, and it was a big scare, like, oh my God, we're all going to die when the clock hits midnight. Now we're all still here 24 years later. It worked. Like we made it through. We'll probably make it through this one as well. But yeah, I'm interested. I will be outside. I will definitely be outside at that part of the day. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much of the sun I can or cannot see. I did not buy any special glasses. In fact, I forgot my sunglasses. So, and I didn't worry about it. Didn't even bring them with me. So, screw it. I don't need all that. No need for all that. We'll see what happens. But it's not the first eclipse that we're going to see. Why do I feel like we just had one of these things? All right, what else is going on in the world of sports? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash. Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Huge news. Let's head on over to what took place in March Madness on Saturday. It kind of feels like the NCAA tournament took a little bit of a backseat post Sweet 16 and Elite 8. But the Purdue Spoilermakers 63-50 winners over DJ Br0's and the NC State Wolfpack. That was interesting. NC State is out. Alabama and UConn going head-to-head. And how about Klingen, 18 points, 4 blocks, 86-72 winners for UConn. We get the 2-1 seeds. We get the 2 big men. And we get it all tonight. Going to be a late night tonight. 9:20 tip-off over on TBS. Why is it on TBS? I don't have the slightest idea. How is that game not on CBS? I don't know, but I guess maybe I'm not supposed to understand certain things. It just sounds like a really bad business decision. In the NCAA Women's Championship, South Carolina finished up their season a perfect 38-0, winning 87-75 yesterday. Caitlin Clark set a women's basketball record. She had 18 points in the first quarter, but just was not enough. She finished with 30, so relatively quiet the rest of the game. And congratulations to South Carolina, to the Gamecocks who finished off with that's an incredible season, 38-0. a perfect season. I saw a stat that South Carolina right now is like 109-3 in like the last 3 years with 2 championships or something just absolutely ridiculous. So good for South Carolina. Great game for Iowa. I don't know how much you watched of it or if you were really even interested in it, but hey, that's what happened. And the Gamecocks, they get to lift the trophy. And I thought Dawn Staley's comments afterwards, the head coach of South Carolina, she personally thanked Caitlin Clark for elevating the status of college women's basketball, which I thought was pretty cool. And Caitlin Clark said after the game she doesn't regret anything. She's happy with her choice to go to Iowa. And, yeah, we'll see what happens at the next level for all of these players. So there you have it. We've got some golf news for you. Tiger Woods is on the grounds at Augusta. He's in line to play his 26th Masters, eyeing the cut record. How about that? 26 appearances at Augusta National. The 48-year-old flew from Stuart, Florida, to Augusta yesterday, spent some time at the club's practice area with his caddy. That's awesome for him. It'll be the first time that he and his new caddy have worked together at Augusta National. His former caddy, helped him win his 5th green jacket in 2019, is now working as Patrick Cantley's full-time caddy. That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Last year, he made the 36-hole cut, tied Gary player Fred Couples, but was forced to withdraw. If he can make the cut this year, he would make the cut for the 24th consecutive time. That would be an Augusta National record there for the Masters, so good for him. Akshay Bhatia earned a spot at the Masters by winning the Valero Texas Open yesterday. It was a pretty interesting story about him. Actually DM'd his wife, and 3 years ago slid in the DMs on Instagram, and he was playing in this very tournament, and she actually, I guess flew or drove out to meet him, and they've been inseparable ever since. So congratulations to him. Rory McIlroy finished in 3rd place at 11 under par. Nelly Korda, how about Nelly? She's been fantastic. She won the T-Mobile match play, and Nelly Korda is on a roll that has been unseen in the LPGA Tour in 16 years. She won 4 of the first 7 holes in the match play, which was awesome. And also, she's been on an absolute tear just by winning every tournament that she checks in. She's won 4 of her first 5 starts in a season. Nelly Korda, congratulations to her. Maybe that's a name that we can follow along. And that's what the LPGA needs. They need more American-born stars if that tour is going to make any noise whatsoever. Nelly Korda is maybe she's it. I don't know. Maybe she needs a caddy. I'm free this week. The Detroit Pistons lost their last 2 games. The Grizzlies 108-90, and then to the Nets 113 to 103. It's just a really, really tough series of events. The Sixers and the Bulls, along with the Mavs and the Spurs, remain the final 4 games for this Pistons season, and then we can just get it over with, right? I mean, that's basically all we collectively are looking forward to at this point in our lives anyways. Just get it over with. The sooner it ends, the better. Big win for the Detroit Red Wings yesterday, 3-1 over the Buffalo Sabres. The Wings now move into the 2nd wild card position. More on that coming up a little bit later. So a very necessary, very good win for them. We are getting word right now that Coach John Calipari is finalizing a deal with Arkansas. Arkansas, of all teams. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know why it works, but that's what they're doing. And the Tigers, after winning their opening day game 5-4, lose both Saturday and Sunday to the Oakland A's. They lost 4-0 on Saturday, 7-1 on Sunday. Flaherty went 6 innings yesterday, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk, struck out 5, did give up a home run through 94 total pitches. Alex Lang gave up 3 hits and an earned run as well. A really, overall, a very bad day. Cold day for the Bats, 7 of 33. Spencer Torkelson was 0 for 4. His average is at 184. Carpenter was 0 for 2. His average is at 227. Riley Green was 2 for 3 yesterday, so that's good. Bumps his average up to 188. That's a positive. Parker Meadows in the leadoff spot, 0 for 2, hitting .087. Also known as less than ideal. Less than ideal. So, We got some text messages here. We'll take your calls. We got a lot to get to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office. Their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA, accounting, and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA, accounting, and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
There's a new player in town. Hi, I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking about Eagle Casino and Sports, the real money mobile casino. It's so easy to play. You can go from wager to winner to wallet, just like that.
Sign up now and we'll match your deposit up to $1,500. Or you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Got a fun text here. You're complaining about Torque. Green is Cade and Cade is Green. Both hurt and show up once in a while. Harris needs to start forming this team with a Green trade for a veteran in their prime. This is how the 84 started to form out because of who they were. Traded 3 of their top picks, who were up and down players here in the big leagues. Isn't Torque more inconsistent than Riley Green? I mean, just look at the numbers. Now, look. Am I complaining about... I'm just saying this is a big year for Spencer Torkelson. That's all I'm saying. It's a monstrous year. This is probably a more important year for Torque than it is for anybody else. I mean, Riley Green showed us, his value to this club. I just think it's a very important year for Torque. I think he's been good defensively. But, look, I mean, we lost a lot of games for a number 1 pick. You're going to need that number 1 pick to hit more than 200. It's early in the year. I don't think we need to trade anybody 9 games into the season. I think that Kenta Maeda looks like a shell of himself. Definitely not the Kenta Maeda we thought we were going to get. And, the pitching staff has been, relatively good up until this point. We're 9 games in. I'm not saying trade anybody. I'm just saying this is a big year for Spencer Torkelson. That's all. Don't get twisted now early on. Want to be trading everybody and dealing everybody right away. I'm just saying it's a big year for Torque. I didn't say we needed to trade him. I didn't say that he's a bum. I didn't say we need to run him out of town. I didn't say anything like that. I said it was a big year. That's okay. I don't know why you're going after Riley Green, trading Riley Green 9 games into the season. I don't. And who is this veteran? Who's this proven veteran? And why are we going after Scott Harris? I mean, if anything, the last GM taught us that we can't make a trade. Hopefully, if we do make a trade, Scott Harris has a little more acumen and ability to execute a trade that is worthwhile and meaningful, and that's a positive result. That would be good. That would be a huge jump over the last GM. That I did not know until after the game. I will stop trashing all my Tigers gear. That was the fact that the Tigers, the last time they won a home series against the A's was back in 2016, in April of 2016. They're 4-21 against Oakland at Comerica Park since then. That is an incredible stat. Oakland. Terry says, just a magnificent Monday morning. Played some chilly golf yesterday. The Red Wings won, are in the second wild card spot. The Tigers need to start hitting and scoring again. If not, then 77 and 85. It's 2 bad games. Now I gotta right the ship a little bit here. It's 2 bad games. That's all. Like it's fine. There's 162 of these things in total. They've played 9 games. That's it. 9 games. There's no reason to get worked up over anything. You've got 163 of these things left, 153 of these things left. Like everything's gonna be fine. Everything's going to be fine. It's all going to work itself out. You got a couple here against the Buccos, and we'll go from there. Wish we had that one guy who was an enforcer type. Need Raz or Edvinson to take on that role. I don't know. I don't know if that's the role. By the way, the University of Toledo lost a good one in the head coach Tricia Cullop. Tricia Cullop took a job with the Miami Hurricanes. That is since been official. And man alive, does that one hurt? Some coaches are just staples and institutions, not only at their school, but also in their community. Very rare do you have a coach that stays somewhere in the mid-major level for 14, 15, 16 years. That's exactly what Tricia Cullop did. She is a wonderful person. She was a finalist at Ohio State for that gig. Her number has been called a plethora of times. She's won the WNIT. She's made the tournament. She's won the MAC regular season. She's won the MAC tournament. She's done everything you can do here. And don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened, something like that. That is really the truth when it comes to Tricia Cullop, who will now take her talents to South Beach. Like LeBron, baby. Headed to South Beach. And some people might be like, "Well, what are you even talking about?" I am absolutely talking about Toledo women's basketball, and we saw it happen with Bowling Green. Robin Freilich took the Michigan State job. Some want to climb the ladder and do it very quickly. Others take their time and try to find a really good spot that fits them really well, and that's a dream scenario. Now, I've seen a lot of backlash, like, oh, 300,000 isn't enough. Like, if you're trying to compare the ACC to the Mid-American Conference, I don't know what to tell you. You need your head examined because the two are not alike. And it's not a shot at anybody pointing out the obvious. Toledo is not Miami, last time I checked. And she's going to get paid really well. She's going to go on to have a great career. Like, I'm not mad at anybody for advancing their career. Like, why would you be? Maybe instead of being mad at somebody else for advancing their career, maybe you should worry about yourself. How about that? John Calipari is finalizing a 5-year deal to become the next head coach. This is actually happening. I thought this was just internet rumor, but he might be going to Arkansas. Calipari's contract is expected to have an overall base salary of just less than $8.5 million that he's making at Kentucky. However, the deal is expected to be incentive-laden with the ability to pass that number. The contract is expected to be completed within the next day. Holy mackerel. So the key relationship to help this deal come together is Calipari's longstanding ties to John H. Tyson, who is a billionaire and Arkansas benefactor. This would be huge. Eric Musselman left for USC last week. And after his departure, Arkansas's AD went after a couple of different coaches. And then Calipari, who has been under more pressure at Kentucky than at any other time, might leave in the middle of the night. Upset losses to St. Peter's and Oakland in recent years, not good in the tournament. Following the first-round defeat to Oakland, there was enough speculation about Cal's job status that the AD had to confirm Cal would be returning as the head coach. Kentucky would have owed Calipari more than $33 million if it were to fire him, but the school isn't owed any money if another program takes him on. 15 seasons as the head coach, 410 and 123, a winning percentage of 77%. Fourth most wins, fourth best record of any D1 team in the last 15 years. 4 Final Four appearances, won the 2012 national title, 6 SEC regular season titles, and 6 SEC tournament titles. 35 first-round picks in the NBA, second most by a head coach at one school in the Common Draft era, trailing only Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. How about that? Before taking over for Billy Gillispie at Kentucky in 2009, he was the head coach at Memphis for 9 seasons, led the Tigers to 2 Elite Eights, went to a national title game in 2008, where they lost to Kansas in OT, also led UMass to the Final Four in 1996 before leaving to the NBA, coaching the New Jersey Nets for 3 seasons, then went back to the college game. Think about that. Think about that success. 77% winning percentage in 15 seasons. 4 Final Fours, a 2012 Natty, 6 regular season titles, 6 conference tournament titles, and it's not good enough. That's crazy. So my question is, if Cal leaves for Arkansas, who takes the Kentucky job? Who wants that? Boy, that's a really interesting start. Really interesting start. My goodness. Like where in the hiring cycle, like what do you do if you're Kentucky? Because you know those guys at Kentucky are going to flee. You know they're taking off. That without question, all those guys are leaving. Like everybody is headed to greener pastures. You know, some teams have already added some pieces. Everybody else is still trying to work through the transfer portal. Man alive. Learn how to read text. I trashed Harris. I didn't say you trashed Harris. I talked about Riley Green problem last year, too, with you on the show and over text. He's always hurt. Torque hit 31 bombs last year and 100 RBI. Just tell people the facts. Yzerman didn't draft Stamkos or Hedman. Will you get off the Yzerman train, please? You gotta stop with everything. Like, why does everything go back to Steve Yzerman all the time? You gotta find a new angle. What is Yzerman in his attachment to Tampa Bay have to do with anything that's taking place. We got to step aside. John Wagner joins us on the other side on X's and Bros.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now, as he typically does, on a Monday. He covered the Detroit Tigers minor league organization for a couple of decades. Also a member of the National Football Foundation, Football Writers Association of America. He's our good buddy. His name is John Wagner. You can find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my good man, how are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Anthony, I am a little slice of heaven this morning. How are you doing? You got anything to talk about?
I was look. I'm doing just fine. Life is good. Look, Red Wings with a big win yesterday, keeping the playoff hopes alive. Opening day bonanza for the Detroit Tigers. The NFL draft. You know, we're moving into the 3-week range now. I mean, this place is electric around here. Opening day was electric. What happened the rest of the weekend wasn't necessarily so. How are you, my good man?
Well, and you didn't even mention the basketball mayhem over this weekend with obviously one game to go yet tonight. But, I mean, the women,
great matchup. Purdue, UConn. Awesome.
What's that?
I said Purdue, UConn. Awesome matchup. We got the ones in there. Zach Edey, Klingon versus Edey is going to be a free-for-all. 2 7-footers going at it. Oh, I can't wait.
Well, and you know, Anthony, I have to admit to you, because you know my feeling. A lot of times we don't get the 2 best teams in the championship game. This year, in my opinion, which, you know, that and $1 isn't even enough to get coffee at Starbucks. But my opinion, this year we have the 2 best teams.
Well, because they're the 2 best teams. That's what happens when you're the best. You don't even make it easy. Like you just march through people. You just thump them when you're the best. If you're a fraud that everybody's been hyping up, then yeah, you can get caught in the fray a little bit. And you can get dropped in the first or second round, not make it. But when you're the best, you make it. You show up.
Well, here's the thing, though, Anthony, and I had some people. Well, you keep using the tired North Carolina State in '83 and Arizona and when was it, 96 or 98, whatever year they finished 5th in the Pac-12 and won the national title. I'm like, okay, you want me to be more current? Let me be more current. How about last year when UConn, and trust me, in the tournament last year, UConn rolled, if you remember. Not only did they win all 6 of their games, they were never really challenged. I mean, kind of like this year. Up until Alabama on Saturday night, they had it pretty easy. But last year, they were the 4th place team in their league. How can you tell me that's the best team in the country? They were the best team in March. I'll grant you that, no doubt. But over the course of the season, I'm not so sure. However, that's an argument for another time. This year, it appears we have the 2 best teams. And, you know, but also, Anthony, I caught your innuendo there of, you know, as opposed to frauds that are out there running around. My guess is that's a veiled reference at a team that wears Old English D's on its uniforms. Did I catch it, or am I reading something that isn't there?
You're reading something that isn't there, because I got to ask you, too. You and I, we both know an individual who on Friday, we got some breaking news Friday evening. Tricia Cullop is going to take or has taken the Miami Hurricanes job. So she is leaving the Mid-American Conference and headed to the Sunshine State. I wanted to get your thoughts on that because I was so happy for her. Yeah, couldn't have been a nicer person, a wonderful coach, has done everything you can do at the mid-major level. Time to take on some new challenges. The ACC, you know, multiple bids going into the tournament, a chance to chase a national championship. Want to get your thoughts on that one real quick.
Tricia Cullop, in her time as the women's basketball coach at the University of Toledo, did a terrific job. I mean, that has become, if it is not the flagship for mid-major basketball on the women's side, I'd love to see what steps in front of that. I mean, their attendance, that's the part that slays me. That's the one that blows my mind. Their attendance is outrageous for a mid-major women's basketball
Top 30
program.
in the country annually, year over year.
And she deserves the credit for that. She does. And, you know, they've had good teams. She's shown she can win. So, you know, we wish her well on the way up. And if you're a Toledo fan, all you can do is thank her for what she did for that program.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened is what they say, John. Somebody says that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those where, and this is going to come off rude, and all I can say is duly noted. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I know I'm right when I say this. That's kind of the world that you have chosen if you're following Mid-American Conference schools. Unless they blow up their blueprint and try and do something different to compete with the Big Ten, which would be draw in boatloads of money, spend boatloads of money on athletics, money they don't have. So this ain't happening. I mean, don't even dream this, friends. But until they do that, they're at a different level. And that's why you got to understand, if you're following a MAC team and a coach has great success, others are going to come calling, and they're probably going to leave for a higher level. I mean, that's the nature of the beast.
And that's the sign of a great coach and a great program, right? I mean, at one point in football, the Mid-American Conference was, they were nicknamed the cradle of coaches, John. And that's why. Like, when you're really good, everybody knows this. You do as the best you can with where you're at and what you got, right? And that's what Tricia Cullop did. I mean, we saw it happen with Matt Campbell going to the Big 12. We saw with Robin Freilich at Bowling Green going to Michigan State. Like, look, I mean, that's the path. That's what happens. Nick Saban left Toledo, went to Michigan State, and then left Michigan State to head down south.
Hey,
what? Yep.
Anthony, I got to interrupt you for a second. I don't want that error to go uncorrected.
Which one?
Nick Saban didn't leave Toledo to take the Michigan State job. He left Toledo
went to Cleveland
to be a defensive coordinator, to be an assistant coach for the Browns.
That's right.
And that, if you don't mind, I want to take the ball and run for it for a second, because in football, the MAC cradle of coaches banner, unfortunately, that's gone. We've seen several cases this year and in years past where head coaches in the MAC leave to take assistant coaches' jobs at the Power 5 level. I mean, Buffalo lost its coach in that manner. I remember a few years back when Central Michigan sent Dan Enos. He took a job as an assistant. Now, you could argue he was a step ahead of the Potsy, and I'm not going to argue that. I'm just saying he did not leave that for a higher paying or bigger head coaching job. And that started to become the way for MAC football coaches. I mean, if you're a Toledo football fan, Jason Campbell's done a great job in Toledo. Don't misunderstand. But he's done a good enough job that you would think he would have gone to a higher level at this point. The fact that he hasn't, some may see that as a reflection of Jason Campbell. To me, watching from a distance, I look at it more as a problem that the Mid-American Conference has. Their coaches are not being seen as a logical hire for a Power 5 school. There are exceptions. Right here in Minnesota, we have one with TJ Fleck, but you don't see a lot of MAC coaches leaving to take jobs as head coaches at Power 5 conferences as you did back in the day.
And as for Jason Kendall, I mean, I thought that maybe he would be gone to Ohio State. I thought he was going to be gone to the Miami Hurricanes, Boston College, but those were all offensive coordinator positions. So kind of very, very interesting to see, how things sort of play out right now in Mid-American Conference football. Now, I see your attempt at wording something I said into a dig, and I raise you one now, my good man. My Detroit Tigers, we were going to the World Series a week ago at this time, and now all of a sudden they have lost 2 in a row. They've lost 2 out of 3 to the Oakland A's. They were outscored in those two losses by a final tally of 11-1 to the Oakland A's, soon to be of Sacramento, and potentially 5 years from now in Las Vegas. That's a debacle for its own day. But how in God's green earth did that happen?
They play 162 of these, Anthony. And a couple of things I would note. Oakland has had its way over the Tigers in Detroit in recent years. This is not a Detroit came in with a 12-game home winning streak against Oakland and suddenly lost to. Oakland has had a lot of success in Detroit in the recent past, and that's I'm not looking back to when Oakland was a playoff team and Detroit was not. Last year, I believe Oakland won at least 2 out of 3, if not 3 out of 4 in Detroit. And that has been a recent phenomenon. The problem here is sample size, okay? Sample size is 2 games. Too small. Way too small. In fact, I would say the concerns that you have about this team, and trust me, I have a few concerns. If you follow me on Twitter, you know right off the top what one of my concerns is for the Tigers. But the sample size is small, so I'm not looking for the panic button to go crazy and push it until, sirens fall or, until the whistle blows, the sirens wail, and we've got to make court corrections. So 2 games. I mean, yeah, they didn't play very well. Yes, they are not hitting well at all. If I'm being honest here, Anthony, it's not that I don't have concerns about this team, but the fact that they lost 2 out of 3 to Oakland, that doesn't concern me. On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 3, probably a 2. It happens. It happens.
Look, I expect perfection every day of the week. All right, so we're 9 games into the season. Am I reading too much into Javi Baez not being in the lineup yesterday?
Yeah, you are. I mean, well, you know what?
Well, early for a rest day, John. I mean, only pitchers get more time off than NBA players.
Yeah, the true answer is no, but yeah is the answer I'd give you. I mean, we've got to understand that Javi Baez is not worth the money he's getting paid right now. I mean, I know, earth-shattering. I hope you were all seated and seatbelted for that, okay? I'm telling you something you didn't realize. I get it. But because of that, the Tigers have made a conscious decision that, hey, just because we're paying him boatloads of money, that doesn't mean we got to send him out there every day and play him. Now, you're going to get him most days. He's going to be out there most days for a defense, if nothing else. But this is not a guy who's going to play 162. You're just hoping that he hits more than he hit, obviously, last year and more than he has early on. So my answer would be you gotta dial back the expectations for Javi Baez.
We have to dial back the expectations in general, don't we?
Offensively, I got to be honest, that's one of my concerns. I don't see a lot of guys taking great at-bats right now, okay? And I get there's 162 games, and all it takes is, a couple of guys getting it together, kicking it in gear, and away we go. My concern is this. A lot of times you'll say, by the end of the season, a guy's going to have the numbers that you see on his bubblegum card every year. And that's not wrong for veterans. There are not a lot of veterans in this lineup for Detroit. There are not a lot of veterans. There are a lot of young guys who show a bunch of talent, but they've got to prove it. And they've got to prove it again and again and again. Now, the guys that concern me right now are guys who have very small sample sizes and the Tigers are counting on them a lot. I'll give you one example right off the bat. It's Kerry Carpenter. He's a talented high ball hitter. There's no doubt. But he only has had 1 or 1.5 big years. To say that he's the staple in the middle of the lineup, honestly, is a little concerning to me. Honestly. Zach McKinstry had a great year offensively last year. You can't count on him in the middle of the lineup. I mean, hopefully, eventually, that's what he becomes. But I don't think you can count on that right now. You've got Holt Keith, obviously talented guy. I mean, I see why the Tigers gave him the money they did. But you got to understand that there's a lot on him. I would rather see him hit lower in the lineup. The problem is, how low in the lineup can you hit him? You know, right off the bat, your lineup has probably a weak hitting catcher. You have Baez or whoever your shortstop is. So right off the bat, you can't bat him lower than 7th. And, you know, depending on who your third baseman is, suddenly he's batting 6th. And, you know, if you have one other concern offensively, all of a sudden Colt Keith is in the top of your lineup. That's a dangerous offensive situation for the Tigers. So it's one of those where I hate to push the panic button because it's April. It's not even a dozen games. It's not hitting weather. Okay, I check. You're right on all counts. But the at-bats I'm seeing right now, I'm concerned is probably too strong, but I don't like what I'm seeing. How about that?
He is, what's a better way to say concerned here, John? He is, I'm
on alert.
He's on alert. Ooh, good word choice.
I'm on alert.
He's on alert. Yeah. Well, the Tigers, they're heading to Pittsburgh because they got 2 against the Buccos, an off day Wednesday, and they'll be right back at home this coming weekend. His name is John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my good man, as always, appreciate the time. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll touch base next week.
That sounds like a plan. Hopefully the Tigers will be playing so well that Anthony will want World Series tickets.
Yes.
That's the hope. Hope everybody has a great week.
That's what we hope. World Series tickets, boy, that would be a lot of fun. We'll just temper our expectations for the time being. How about that? An action-packed fight card taking over Las Vegas for UFC 300. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the UFC, is giving you the chance to get in on the action with a knockout offer for every fight fan. New customers can bet on any UFC 300 bout, turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right, from the much-anticipated title match between Pereira and Hill to the exciting undercard bouts, DraftKings giving new customers a shot to rack up those bonus bets. So just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only with DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Michigan. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. Hour 3 is next.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. The food district is now open. There's something for everyone. From Bubba Coos Burritos to Bonanno's New York Pizza Kitchen to Guy Fieri's Chicken and Ike's Lovin' Sandwiches. Savor every delicious flavor at the all-new Food District. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for my good friends from Flying Ace Whiskey. Now it's an American-made whiskey bottled right here in our great state of Michigan. And Flying Ace Whiskey has partnered with the Folds of Honor Michigan chapter to help Michigan children of men and women injured or killed in combat, and also the children of our first responders who are injured or die and making the ultimate sacrifice while serving and protecting. And there's a simple, easy way for you to donate with that money going to the Folds of Honor Michigan chapter. Look for the Flying Ace Whiskey bottleneckers on bottles all across the state of Michigan. here over the next couple of weeks, and you can donate, and that money will go directly to the Folds of Honor Michigan program on behalf of Flying Ace Whiskey. And also Flying Ace Whiskey has put up 4 scholarships for the children. Flying Ace Whiskey, an American-made whiskey, taking a lot of pride in America. Look for it in stores and pubs all across Michigan.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets bending in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! They did it! Br0's Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Br0's. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Monday morning to you. It is the 8th day of April 2024. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Myers Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. On BCSN, streaming live on our YouTube page. Got a very interesting text message here. Rumor has it, after all that, Yzerman takes on the full-time president role. Chris Draper becomes GM. Yzerman is firing the coach at the end of the season. It's Brian Murray, Dave Lewis, Rick Carlisle all over again. Remember what happened when those three got fired. Okay, all right. All right, rumor has it. Rumor has it. Woo! Then will we blame? Chris Draper gets all the blame for everything. Oh boy, I don't know, this GM blame game stuff. It's gotta stop. We're years in the making of this. Anytime we talk about anything Detroit Tigers related, it goes back to Steve Yzerman. How does that happen? I have no idea. It's definitely not me. I did not choose this. That was not a priority for me this morning to debate and go through every single selection. The Red Wings won 3-1 yesterday. So, I have no issue. They're going to fight. They're going to make the playoffs. It's going to be a really good learning experience for everybody. Once you're into the tournament, it is what it is. Anybody can win it. That's what makes it fun. And we'll see how it goes. And we'll go from there. And that's going to be that. What if they win a playoff series? What if the Red Wings not only get in, but they win a playoff series? For all the people that are calling for Derek Lalonde's head, where will they go? What will they do? That'll be really, really interesting to see what happens. If you do that, if he goes out there and does that, if they make the playoffs and win a playoff series, oh my goodness, can you imagine? Can you imagine? What would they say? How would they somehow blame Steve Yzerman for not winning the Stanley Cup? It'd be crazy. So we just got to, we just keep hope alive. That's all. That's really all we can do. Let's just keep hope alive. All right, what's going on in this? I guess I should probably give out the, you can find us individually on Twitter. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. Ben Glaze at the Ben Glaze. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AEC Bellino. Feel free to join us. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send it to 21,000 or give us a dial on the Myers Supercenter guest line 866-838-HUGE. 866-838-4843. What's going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Friday, Sunday is a better window than Saturday, Monday for the Final Four. The women got it right. The men, starting this thing tonight at 9:20 is going to be real. I'm just trying to get to bed earlier and they're not making it any easy on me. Number 1, Purdue beat NC State on Saturday night, 63-50. And top-seeded Connecticut beat 4th-seeded Alabama, 86-72. So we get the matchup I think we all wanted. Klingon versus Edey. UConn versus Purdue. Matt Painter for an opportunity at immortality to make it into the Final Four and now to have a chance at the national championship game, and it's all going to run through Zach Edey. I'm not going to lie, I was happy to see NC State lose. I'd seen enough of them. South Carolina finishes a perfect season, 38-0, as they won 87-75. A matchup of 1 seeds, the Gamecocks beating the Iowa Hawkeyes, who end their season at 34-5. Congratulations to Dawn Staley and South Carolina. I read somewhere they're like 109-3 in like the last 3 years or something ridiculous with 2 national championships. She was fantastic. I thought that her, she really, I was talking a little bit about Tricia Cullop earlier, the Toledo women's basketball head coach. Dawn Staley reminds me a lot of her. They seem to just understand big picture. And that's something a lot of coaches don't really get. And I think it's very important. I think that their connection with their fan bases, I think Dawn Staley took the microphone and thanked Caitlin Clark for what she had done for the game. That's pretty remarkable. And it was a hell of a matchup. Caitlin Clark set a NCAA women's record, 18 points in the first quarter of the game, was held to 30 in total, so cooled off quite a bit there. And that's how they end up losing. John Calipari is finalizing a 5-year deal with Arkansas, a blockbuster move that is going to shake the landscape. Here's a look at what Cal has done 15 seasons at Kentucky. A 410-123 record. That's a 77% winning percentage. 4th most wins, 4th best record of any D1 team in the last 15 years. 4 Final Fours, a 2012 national title, 6 regular season titles, 6 tournament titles. That's SEC tournament titles, and 35 first-round picks, trailing only Coach K at Duke. That's a pretty remarkable resume there for Coach Calipari. Tiger Woods is in line to play in his 26th Masters. If he makes the cut, he will set a PGA record, 24 consecutive cuts made. That's pretty crazy. If he does that, he's already tied the record of Gary Player and Fred Couples, but was forced to withdraw last year. The 15-time major champion confirmed that he's battling the flu. Woods also dealt with lower back tightness during that tournament. That was during the Genesis Invitational second round in his latest start. We had a close yesterday, not a start. Akshay Bhatia earned the Masters spot with his playoff win at the Texas Open, so congratulations to him. Rory McIlroy finished in 3rd place at 11 under par. Bhatia shot 20 under. Nelly Korda defeated Leona Maguire to win the T-Mobile match play. Why this is important, Nelly Korda's won 4 of her first 5 events on the LPGA Tour. It's exactly what that tour needs is Nelly Korda. Pistons have lost 2 in a row. They lost to the Grizzlies 108-90 and then followed it up by losing to the Brooklyn Nets 113-103. 4 games remaining, 3 of which are on the road. They're off tonight in Philadelphia to take on the 76ers tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Over in the NHL, the Detroit Red Wings, big winner yesterday, 3-1 over the Buffalo Sabres. That puts them in the 2nd wild card position, trailing the Tampa Bay Lightning by 9 points. More on the standings coming up here. And the Tigers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Oakland A's over the weekend. They won Game 1 on opening day, 5-4. That was exciting. Then lost 4-0 and 7-1 to close down what was a very, very exciting weekend. A very exciting opening day. The streets were packed. It was impossible to get around. It was like basically like hosting a holiday parade in downtown Detroit. It was a sensational day from our vantage point where I was working, opening day in the afternoon. The scene was incredible. So we were at the Huntington Bank Tower up at the top floor. There's like the 20th floor is actually like the outside deck. It was a little too cold, a little windy to be out there. So we went where the 19th floor is like an open sort of venue, like party hosting type of deal. And it was awesome. It was awesome to be able to look into the ballpark. The video board is humongous. And shout out to Blake Corum, who threw out a first pitch from the 15-0 national champion Michigan Wolverines. An absolute perfect pitch, exactly how you do it. You take one step, you lob it in there, That's all you got to do. Don't try to go out there and overdo it. Just lob it in there. Make sure the catcher catches it. You're throwing it 60 feet. It's 20 yards. It's not that hard. Wave to both sides and keep it moving. We'll step aside. Back with more X's and Bros after this Michigan Sports Network.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. People ask me all the time, outside of Comerica Park, what are your favorite ballparks? Well, my top 5 may change from time to time, but one ballpark that's always right at the top, PNC Ballpark in Pittsburgh, where the Tigers play today and tomorrow. Sitting at the confluence of the Monongahela and Allegheny Rivers, where they form the Ohio, PNC Park is an absolute gem. The Allegheny is reachable with a mighty blow from a lefty. The Roberto Clemente Bridge sits out beyond the center field fence. The right field wall is 21 feet high in his honor. It's a small ballpark with an intimate feel. There isn't a bad seat in the house. If you like traveling to new ballparks, PNC is a destination ballpark. Be sure to put it on your short list.
Hey, Michigan, let's go big. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking real big-time winning on the hottest slots and table games on one incredible app, Eagle Casino and Sports.
Sign up now and get up to $1,500. That's right. We'll match your deposit for up to $1,500, and you'll get 100 free spins.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar or additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000. Or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Myers Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. All right, a little standings check now as we are getting into the home stretch in both the NBA and NHL, and it has been an interesting ride thus far. Most teams in the NBA are right around the 75 game mark, right? So they're 75 or above, I would say. For the NHL, everybody's in that same sort of wheelhouse, 76 or above for a majority of the National Hockey League. We'll start with the NBA because we have no teams with any sort of ramifications in here right now. So far, what has happened is the Boston Celtics have clinched the league's best record at 62-16. They will have home court again this time throughout the course of the entire NBA playoffs. And if they can make it to the finals, boy, the Garden is going to be rocking. The Milwaukee Bucks have also punched their ticket in the Eastern Conference. They've clinched the playoff berth. Everybody else trying to figure it out. The Orlando Magic, who played last night, got a chance to watch their game. That was fun. They sit in third place. And I'll tell you this much. Paolo Banchero has got to be the most uncovered, lightly covered, no coverage whatsoever, all-star, verge of superstar in the entire association. Like, there's a couple of guys, Paolo Banchero being one, Anthony Edwards being another, Tyrese Halliburton. This is one of the major injustices that Adam Silver has inflicted on this league. He gets a lot of credit because the players like him, because he bows and bends the knee to the players and to China as well. But this guy, I mean, he has just taken this league and pile-drived it, to use a wrestling term, because I guess there was a big wrestling event last night. I have no idea. But it's just a pile driver to the league. And I get that it's a star-driven league. That's fine. But you got to show all the stars. The constant slobbering over LeBron James and the Golden State Warriors. There are plenty. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC, Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, Tyrese Halliburton with the Indiana Pacers, Banchero with the Orlando Magic. Like, you have to showcase these guys. If Julius Randle's shoulder wouldn't have fallen off and the New York Knicks would have been in second or third place right now instead of fourth without Randle, it would be Stephen A. Smith gassing the Knicks all day long when the Orlando Magic are 46-32. That's where they're at. We didn't get a ping pong ball. We didn't get Banchero. We didn't get a ping pong ball. We didn't get Wemby. And that's the difference. Those are, you miss on the Killian Hayes thing for Tyrese Halliburton, which we've covered ad nauseum here on this program. But you miss, and it just costs your franchise. I can't even imagine if Halliburton was here with Jalen Duren. You can scrap the rest of it. Just give me those two. And we'll figure the rest out on the fly. But you have Boston 1, Milwaukee 2, Orlando, the 3 seed. They have the same record as the New York Knicks, own the tiebreaker. Knicks are the 4 seed. Cleveland Cavaliers, who have lost 3 straight, are 46-33. They're in 5th place, followed by the Pacers in 6th place. Now, with the NBA's play-in tournament, you have the 76ers in 7th. They trail the Pacers by a game. They have the Pistons coming up. So you got to imagine they're going to win that. The Miami Heat got a chance to watch their game yesterday in which they lost. That didn't make any sense. Like, everybody on their team had more than 18 points. They still lost. And then you have the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks that have both clinched a play-in berth that are either going to flip-flop each other. One's going to be 9 right now. That's Chicago. One's going to be 10. That's Atlanta. And then, eliminated our Brooklyn, Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, and our lowly Pistons. Oh, terrible. On the Western Conference side, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets, and Oklahoma City are all in. You should probably hear more about the Denver Nuggets. I saw that Gilbert Arenas said statistically Nikola Jokic is the worst MVP ever. It has nothing to do. It's not statistically. It's stylistically, and there's a drastic difference. And Gilbert Arenas, as one guy in the group chat said, I asked why anybody would listen to him. He said, because he's got a lot of experience in the league. And I said, that's fine. He also took guns into a locker room. Like, at some point, you have to make sure the elevator's reaching the top floor to buy into that. But statistically, nobody has outperformed Nikola Jokic. You just don't like the style of ball he plays, and that's probably for a myriad of reasons. One that I just won't even go into. But two, you have no idea what you're watching. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Crazy to me. Style, like, nothing about Jokic's style is really, doesn't get off the ground. He's not flashy. The flashiest thing about him is the fact he'll throw like a no-look tip pass over his head behind his back. But outside of that, like, he doesn't do anything that's like, oh my God, he's not Anthony Edwards when it comes to for the love of elevation or anything of that nature. So that's why that situation is is the way that it is. But yeah, Gilbert Arenas, like, dude, you're crazy. Statistically speaking, guy blows it out of the water. He's probably going to win another MVP. I think SGA's got a legitimate chance at it. He should definitely be in that conversation. I know that ESPN and the NBA are dying for Jason Tatum to take that step. I don't think it happens. The LA Clippers are in 4th. The Mavs are in 5th. Luka Doncic having a hell of a season. He and Kyrie have actually kind of made this thing work, which is very surprising. The Phoenix Suns are in 6th. Remember, they had Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. Like, who's stopping this three? Anytime somebody says that, that's a kiss of death. The New Orleans Pelicans are 7th. The Sacramento Kings are in 8th, followed by the Lakers and the Warriors are 9 and 10. The Rockets, Jazz, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, and Spurs have all been eliminated. And boy, oh boy, if we just could have gotten Wemby. Oh, can you imagine if we would have had Wemby? Now, Wemby Spurs had 19 wins. The Pistons had 13 wins. If Wemby's on this team, wow. I don't even know. The guy is just an absolute alien. But that's the way that the NBA standings shake out. Over in the NHL side of things, Red Wings played their 77th game of the season. So they have, along with Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and Washington, have all played 77. Teams on the outside looking in, the Sabres, Devils, and Flyers have all played 78. So the first 4 teams in the wild card hunt all have a game in hand to those that are hopping into the race. Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning have clinched. They're already in. It's just a matter of, are they going to get in via wild card or are they going to get in via division? But either way, they are in. So it's a hunt for the final wild card spot, the number 2 wild card spot, because in the Atlantic right now you have Boston, Florida, and those 2 are safe. Toronto, I say they're safe. Toronto could go on a heater right now. They could potentially catch Florida, could potentially catch Boston because they have 2 games in hand to each of those teams. So those 3 teams are all in from the Atlantic. In the Metro Division, the Rangers and the Canes have both punched their tickets over 100 points for each. Now, this is where things get sticky because you have the Islanders, the Pens, Capitals, and Flyers all fighting for that last Metropolitan Division spot. And in the Metro, the Islanders have 85 points because they've won 4 in a row. So the Islanders climb up to the 3rd spot in the Metro Division at 85 points, with the Penguins at 83, the Capitals with 83, and the Flyers with 83. Devils and Sabres still not mathematically eliminated with 79 points. Then you have the Detroit Red Wings, who aren't getting in via the division, but still are holding on for a wild card berth. Hopefully, would probably match them up with the New York Rangers. Oh, God, that would be rough. That'd be rough. But that's where we're at right now. Everybody fighting for that second wild card spot, and it is an absolute dogfight. What I like a lot about it is that the games have switched hands so many different times. So many different times. Boston would get the wild card 1. Florida would get Toronto. The Rangers would get the Rangers would get the Wings, and then the Canes would get the Islanders. My goodness, we are gotta win down the stretch. Got some more text messages to get to, plus want to talk about March Madness. We'll do that next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
We're going to talk a little March Madness, but we got a text message here. And I want to get to this text. Where did all the Howard will be a star head coach? I didn't say he'd be a star head coach. You want him in your living room? I did say that. Because there's so many smart people and not so smart fans who knew Howard would never work from day one, but some forget that. We didn't know that Howard was not going to work from day one, and Howard was an AP Coach of the Year, as well as a Big Ten Coach of the Year. And had some good runs. And had he been able to get Terrence Shannon Jr. and Caleb Love, maybe we're not even having this discussion. But that didn't happen, so it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, if you want to go tit for tat, Zach Wilson, Malik Willis at 2, Malik Willis at number 2 overall, we can do that. We can go down that road. We don't want to argue about that, though. Somehow Steve Eisman got brought into this. Also won a GM of the Year award, something Alavila never won. But, you know, I know that a lot of people want to go back to, he didn't draft Stamkos, but he did draft Nikita Kucherov, Andrei Vasilevsky, Braden Point, Andre Palat, Anthony Cirelli. So, I mean, like, yeah, there's some pretty good picks there. And as far as I know, it takes more than one guy to win a hockey game and more than one guy to win a Stanley Cup. So, I mean, we can nitpick all we want. We can do that if you want to do that. I don't want to do that today. That's not exactly what I'm looking forward to doing. Apologies on being wrong on Juwan Howard. My bad. Thought it would work out. Didn't work out. But understand that it didn't work out, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm allowed one miss a decade. If that was the miss, then that was the miss. Maybe that was more hope. There's no reason it shouldn't have worked out when you think about it, outside of what Ryan and I had discussed after the article from Brendan Quinn came out, the one-on-one interview. And, look, like it didn't work out, and that's okay. Into college basketball, we'll stay in that realm. A very, very busy weekend of both the men's and women's Final Fours. The women's Final Four being played in Cleveland, the men's Final Four being played in Phoenix, Arizona. And let's get into Saturday night's contest. We had Zach Edey taking on DJ Br0's, and the story that was the NC State Wolfpack. What a magical run they had. I mean, the last month of their year has been insane. But for DJ Br0's, 4 of 10 from the field, got in some foul trouble early, played just 27 minutes. They were trying to figure out, a way to get him in there. Had 8 points, 1 rebound, and 4 assists. DJ Br0's, for a lot of people really like him. I don't. I'm not a fan. I don't think that he does anything incredibly well. I think that he plays bully ball for his size because he's, 6'8", 6'9", and 300 pounds. Like, that's fine. Some people are like, oh, man, he'd be a great offensive tackle. I don't know. I have a question eventually. Like, at some point, like the height thing on offensive line, unless your quarterback is Josh Allen height, like, Kyler Murray takes sacks, and he's got some elusiveness, but he takes a lot of sacks because he's small. He's small. If Tua didn't have Tyreek, he'd probably take a little bit more sacks too, but at that point, just, like, screw it, throw it. Like, he'll be down there somewhere. He'll just don't underthrow him, and he'll go run, catch the ball. Russell Wilson. There's a reason Russell Wilson takes more sacks than anybody, and that's because he's small. At what point do we need to have these offensive linemen that are just gargantuan centers at the college basketball level? Like, DJ Br0's said he has no interest in playing football. Of course not. Like, just because he's got good feet doesn't mean he's got the mental capacity to be able to try to move people. Like, I don't think DJ Br0's is going to be a pro. Sorry. Number 3 recruit out of his class in the state of South Carolina, the number 1 recruit that year was Zion Williamson. Just to put in perspective how old DJ Br0's is, right? So you have that aspect of it as well. And that's something that, people need to realize a little bit as we're discussing these things, because he was playing a lot of bully ball because he was bigger than most or the same size and just outweighed everybody. He ran into somebody who's bigger than him, and Zach Edey. And Zach Edey, just a smooth 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and only shot 2 free throws. So it's not like, DJ Br0's is playing him left shoulder. The fact that DJ Br0's is overplaying him left shoulder, which what that means is that when Zach Edey catches the ball, let's say we're looking at the basket from behind the hoop. Like, let's say that the camera's on top of the rim. Zach Edey's catching the ball on the right-hand block, and he's putting the ball down with his right hand, and he's lowering his left shoulder. When you say somebody's guarding you left shoulder, you guard left shoulder because they want to go right hand. And DJ Br0's overplaying him on that left shoulder, and Zach Edey refused to just simple drop, step, spin, move, one dribble, left hand. Like, I don't know what was going on there, but it was bothering the hell out of me. The one good thing that Zach Edey was able to do was able to find some players on the outside, Fletcher Lawyer being one of them, Lance Jones being another. Those guys working the ball around, and 13 assists on 22 made shots from the field. Seemed kind of light, 22 of 55, 40% from the field. They were 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line, just 9 of 10 from the free throw line. So you really couldn't complain about the fouls too much, outside of the fact that NC State shot 4 free throws in the game, but they shot 36% from the field and 26% from 3. And Purdue lost the turnover margin, but they out-rebounded them 41-28. And Zach Edey with the blocks, it was like, it's just too much. And that's why, like, all the hyper on DJ Br0's, good story, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't care about guys walking down the tunnel with a dude with a boombox. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. That's not going to win you games. I don't care about swag. I don't care about style. I want substance. I want you to do more and say less is what I want. And that's why Purdue won. Now, on the other game, basically everything that Coach Barlow had told us from a scouting report came true. That was really it. Alabama shot 23 three-pointers. Over half of their shots from the field were from the long line, and they shot 48% from 3. They were 9 of 11 from the free throw line. UConn was 14 of 18 from the stripe, shot 40% from 3. They were 10 of 25 in comparison to Alabama's 11 of 23, so a little bit less on the percentage, but only one less made 3. And Clingan, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 blocks. Like, that's what you're going to see. Guard play, all 5 starters from UConn scored in double figures. And Mark Sears, the Ohio product, the guy that was recruited by Coach Barlow, finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Alabama's style got him there. They don't play a lot of defense, but they do shoot a lot. That's all fine and dandy, but I don't necessarily agree. Keith Goldsberry Kurt Goldsberry, I should say, did a really good graph, and it was like how the game has changed. And it was showing the shot charts. And I don't know. I think that I don't think a 15-foot shot is a bad shot. And we saw it in the women's game yesterday where, you're just leaving somebody wide open at the free throw line, daring them to shoot, and they can't knock it down. Like, you got to practice it over and over and over again. Like, the depth of the mid-range, I get it. Like, you 18-footer, take a dribble and, step back and then try to shoot the 3. Okay, I guess. But if you shoot it from 18 feet better than you shoot it from 23 feet, then shoot it from 18 feet. But we definitely got the national championship game that we wanted, at least in my opinion. This is the one I wanted. Zach Edey versus Clingan. Like, let's go head-to-head. 2 big fellas, and Donovan Clingan has been, at 7'2", 280. He's been dynamite. All season, 13 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. He's going to have his work cut out for him. And it's going to be awesome to watch. Like, there isn't anything else. Edey, on the other hand, averaging 25 and 12 at 7'4", 300. Like, this is the matchup that everybody wants. Let's see these 2 big guys. A little throwback to the big man game, right? Like, the actual size, the big man matters here. This is good. Maybe a little pushback on the 3-point long ball revolution here for tonight's national championship game. And I'm excited. I hope that I'm not excited about the broadcast being on TBS. I don't understand why it's not on CBS. I need somebody to explain that to me. Like, you'd think you'd want this thing on as many television sets across the country as possible. Right now, the Huskies are a 7-point favorite. The over-under 145.5. That's interesting. You look at 72, 73 kind of games, what they're saying? Okay. All right, I can get down with that. UConn was the number 1 overall seed. Purdue was the number 3 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, so this works out really well. Boilermakers in the Big Ten were 18-4. 30-4 over against teams that are over 500. So it's not just like they were beating up on bad teams. They were beating good teams. UConn averages 82 points a game scored, which is 13 more points per game than Purdue. So Purdue's going to want to slow it up, obviously, as Coach Barlow told us. Can UConn up the pace a little bit? And what happens now, where the UConns are 10-0 in their last 10 games, averaging 81 points, 40 rebounds, 21 assists, like they're shooting 50% from the field. Their opponents have averaged 62 points a game. Is there a way that Zach Edey taking on Donovan Clingan, the biggest matchup of both of their lives, is there a way that Clingan can neutralize Edey? Because you don't have to double the post when you have 7-footer on 7-footer. Like, that's it. Like, you just got to let those two guys work. As long as they all stay out of foul trouble. And that's really what it comes down to for me. Like, I want both of these teams to stay out of foul trouble. Both of them. Like, I don't want the refs to be involved. I want, like, 9 total fouls called in the game. Like, let's not shoot free throws. Let's play. Let the big fellas get after it down low. Let them bang on the inside. And let's see if these two teams, how they match up. Like, let's get into it. Like, I'm 100% good with that. That's what I want to see. That's what I hope we see. I would give the edge to the guard play of Connecticut. You know, Lance Jones is going to have to come up big for Purdue once again. Braden Smith, the sophomore, has been electric. He's going to have a good day, not only offensively but guarding. Right? And let's see these two teams go at it. I am more than excited for tonight's game. More than excited. Do we have a gut feeling on who's going to win this thing? Ryan, you got a call? You know who's going to do it? Is it going to be UConn? Is it going to be Purdue? Is Purdue going to snap the streak for the Big Ten? The other thing about this, since Tom Izzo's Michigan State Spartans won it in 2000, there has been this big, grand narrative idea talking point. Oh, the Big Ten can't win the national championship, right? It's all anybody wants to talk about. It's been 24 years. It's been 20 years. It's been 15 years. You go back in time, and every single year, it's the Big Ten can't win it. I don't know. The Big Ten was like, look, we've ran into some buzzsaws. The Big Ten has had some really good years. This was a relatively down year for the conference overall. I mean, we just had some teams there that, you know, you look at the bottom of look at Rutgers. Look at Maryland. Look at Penn State. Look at Michigan. I mean, Michigan historically bad as a single-digit winning team. I mean, Indiana 19-14, 10-10 in conference play with Michigan State and Iowa. Wisconsin. I mean, that was a 12-5 that was set up to fail from the beginning. I mean, James Madison, the winningest team in the country, getting Wisconsin in round 1, that one felt like it was too easy. Purdue, Illinois, great, up at the top. I mean, Keisei Tominaga, Nebraska seemed like they were going to be really easy to neutralize. Northwestern, I wasn't impressed with. Wisconsin, talked about them. Indiana, didn't really move the needle for me. Like, for me, it was Purdue and Illinois and then kind of everybody else. Then the bottom portion of that bracket was an absolute disaster. That was it. That was it. So I'm excited. I'm intrigued. Maybe Purdue can get it done. For UConn to get back there, back-to-back years, that's like some next-level success there for Coach Hurley. Happy for him. Wonder what Bobby thinks about all Dan's success. No, I'm teasing. I know they're rooting for each other. They're brothers. Why wouldn't they? But for Matt Painter, if Paint can get it done, for all those alumni that went through that school that are looking forward to this type of contest, this type of matchup, this type of game between these two clubs, it's going to be perfect. I just hope that it's I think it's as long as the refs don't play a part in this thing tonight, I think we're set up for some really, really good basketball. I think we got a good mix of everything. We got good guard play. We got wings that can shoot it. We've got big men. Like, this to me seems like a little bit of a throwback game. So if you have maybe turned away from basketball for whatever reason because you're tired of guys just run up the floor and chucking a three, I would suggest you turn this game on. 9:20 tonight on TBS. I know I'm right there with you. I'm not trying to stay up late to watch this anyways, but we got to be dialed in for this one. Dialed in for it. Because this has all the makings of why you love basketball in the 90s, because it's got everything. It really does. I think you're going to see some guards really defend. It seems like both teams aren't affected by the football stadium shooting, knocking down shots in the Final Four. That's great. That sets up really nicely for the national championship. Both teams can shoot it at a decent percentage, especially from deep. And you've got yourself the best mix for the Natty. So who are we taking? We'll throw it up on the poll. Heads up, no spread. UConn or Purdue. Who wins tonight's 2024 men's basketball national championship? TBS, 9:20. Be there, be square. I'm excited for that. Also taking place tonight, I think that's really it on our schedule of events. We'll have the Tigers. They will be in action tonight, taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates, as you heard the wonderful Dan Dickerson talking about PNC Park, one of his favorite ballparks. That's a 6:40 first pitch there for the Detroit Tigers. Maybe they can get back into the win column. That would be nice. As we had mentioned, the Detroit Pistons are going to be off tonight. They're off tonight as they will go to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. That game is tomorrow, and the Red Wings will be off tonight as well, as they will continue this home stretch run to try to make the playoffs. And they have a monstrous game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against the Washington Capitals, a game that I believe that everybody will be tuned in for. You have Washington at home, I should say, Pittsburgh and Toronto on the road Thursday, Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday, a back-to-back against Montreal. You're going to need the points in those final two games, but really the season kind of comes down to tomorrow and Thursday, so we'll have full coverage of those couple of games there as we look forward to, hopefully, the Detroit Red Wings being able to make a push and secure their berth as a wild card into the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs. Hey, folks, want to remind you we got a big fight coming up this weekend as well. A very big fight, UFC 300. Can you imagine there's been 300 of these things, and they're going to keep on going. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the UFC, is giving you the chance to get in on the action with a knockout offer for every fight fan. New customers can bet on any UFC 300 bout and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. From the much-anticipated title fight between Pereira and Hill to the exciting undercard bouts, DraftKings has you covered, and new customers can rack up those bonus bets right now. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code HUGE. New customers bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. For Ben and Ryan, I'm Anthony. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Michigan Sports Network.
June 23rd, the world's most notorious rock band is coming to Soaring Eagle Casino. Motley Crue. The Crew. Part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $54 and are on sale now at the box office and online at etix.com. Party hard, then take a ride on the wild side. Motley Crue. Sunday, June 23rd at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office. Their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA, accounting, and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA accounting and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together,